In the building behind me, 1 billion lives were saved. That is no exaggeration. 1 billion lives were saved on the second floor there, because that is the room in which penicillin was invented by Sir Alexander Fleming. So who was Sir Alexander Fleming, and what is the story of penicillin? Well, he was born here in the United Kingdom in 1881, in Scotland to be more precise. His father was a farmer. They didn't have a great deal of money. Nonetheless, Alexander Fleming managed to stay at school to the age of 17, which was highly unusual. Most people were leaving school at the age of 12. He was gifted academically. However, family finances would not stretch to third-level education. Very few people were able to pursue a higher education then. So he took a job as a shipping clerk. 2 years later, his uncle died and left him a considerable legacy. And this meant that Fleming was able to fund his own studies here at St Mary's Hospital in London. In those days, doctors were usually educated at hospitals who would organise their own lectures, their own pre-med course, and then their own clinical stage of a medical degree. So he qualified here as a doctor, and he mainly worked as a research physician rather than treating patients. He was an absent-minded academic sort, and in September 1929 he went on holiday to the countryside. He'd left some petri dishes out. I don't know what he was trying to culture there, and seeing where various things, bacteria, grew and where they didn't. But he came back after a week, and he'd left some of his experiments out. It was rather haphazard, and by accident more than design, he found that certain bacteria had not grown, and he had happened upon penicillin. Something was going to stop bacteria growing. So he published his findings in an obscure medical journal, and the significance of his discovery was not appreciated by the medical profession at the time. But over the 1930s it became to be a bit better known and understood. It's only in the Second World War people began to manufacture penicillin on a large scale, and all antibiotics come from that. I'm no scientist, as no doubt my remarks demonstrate. So first of all, penicillin was only available to servicemen. It was only after the Second World War it became available to the general public, to civilians and military personnel alike. So in the old days, infection was a very great risk after any operation, or in almost any situation. Many people died of infections which would these days be cured. Now, sometimes infections will clear up, but if a person's given antibiotics, it will clear up an awful lot faster. Obviously, one shouldn't take antibiotics if one doesn't really need them. The trouble is people are taking them willy-nilly, taking them over trifling things, and therefore bacteria build up a resistance. Only take them if you have a prescription. Some bad pharmacists will sell them anyway. So Sir Alexander Fleming became a most distinguished man of medicine, and he was later awarded the Nobel Prize for Medicine in the 1950s. He lived on till 1955, if memory serves. He was knighted for his contribution to medical sciences. That's why he's Sir Alexander Fleming. Indeed, there's a pub around the corner called the Alexander Fleming, named in his honour. His only child also became a doctor, who I think is still with us. So that is Sir Alexander Fleming here at St Mary's Hospital in London. Incidentally, this is the hospital where princesses parturiate. So if the Duchess of Sussex becomes great with child, no doubt she shall deliver her regal infant here.